Becky Lynch is back in the headlines, and you have to hear what she had to say in this video. I'm going to tell you what she had to say, because Becky Lynch is on the road to WrestleMania, where she challenges Rhea Ripley for the Women's World Championship. A match a lot of people, including myself, believe will be the time when Becky Lynch dethrones Rhea Ripley as the Women's World Champion. But she is also on her way to release day. What am I talking about? Well, the release date for Becky Lynch's new book, it's inching closer. She's making the rounds and speaking with various media outlets, making podcast appearances, including a virtual signing session on live signing where she made said comments. Let's take it back, though, with where she has come thus far. Her 2023 was quite interesting. Her 2022 was even more interesting because she went through the transition of having a full year under her belt, returning, being a heel, being, in my opinion, a knockoff version of Seth Rollins, her husband, right? With her outfits and her over-the-top heel persona. I was not a fan of that persona. I've made that very, very clear. And she had the chance to work under Vince McMahon. She had the chance to work under Triple H. And she's way better off under Triple H. That has been clear because not only did Triple H look at her heel run as a mistake, he also looked at what Vince McMahon did with her as a mistake. This idea of turning her heel, having this over-the-top persona that completely did not fit her whatsoever. Whatever Vince McMahon decided to do with Becky Lynch, whatever the origin of his idea behind that character, it was horrendous. But under Triple H's leadership, he not only turned her back to a babyface, but back to the man. But it took him a minute to get her back to that persona. She almost did like this slow transition from whatever character that she was portraying, whatever you want to call it, Big Time Bex, I think it was, to the man that got her over in late 2018, that character. It took him a minute. So as we're approaching WrestleMania, she's feuded with Damage Control, most notably in November at Survivor Series. Lynch, Charlotte Flair, Bianca Belair, Shotzi, they were on the same War Games team at Survivor Series where they bested Io Sky, Bayley, Kairi Sane, and Asuka. Then she most recently headlined the March 18th episode of Monday Night Raw, scoring a victory over Nia Jax in the last woman standing match. And so while doing this virtual signing, Becky was asked to name one of her wrestling soulmates. She named two, Charlotte Flair and Bianca Belair. She added that she loves beating up Nia Jax too. So this is what she had to say. The very cool thing about that is I think there are several. I think Charlotte and obviously have a undeniable chemistry and an undeniable history. And I think no matter how many times myself and Charlotte have wrestled, I think people are always going to want to see more. And another is Bianca Belair. She's fabulous. I love stepping in the ring with her. And every time we do, I feel like there's a little bit of magic that happens. And so there's a couple. Also, I love beating up the bejesus out of Nia Jax also. I loved it. I loved leg dropping her through an announce table on Monday Night Raw. That was fun, end quote. So let's take a step back and let's break down what she had to say here. Regarding Charlotte Flair. Oh, the history that they have. They feuded in NXT, or at least had matches in NXT. They have been aligned on the main roster. They've been bitter rivals on the main roster. They've been best friends behind the scenes. And yet, they've been somewhat enemies behind the scenes. There's a lot to their relationship. Obviously, they're part of the Four Horsewomen WWE group alongside Sasha Banks, a.k.a. Mercedes Moné, and Bayley. There's a lot of history there. They had issues when they were feuding, 2022? I think it was. They were having issues. I think they worked a Survivor Series that year. Obviously, They worked the first ever all-women's WB pay-per-view event, Evolution, in 2018. They had a great match. Their feud is so good that I could go out and say, and I think most of you would agree with this, but most, okay? Don't freak out over there, Tom. I think most of y'all would agree that a Charlotte Flair versus Becky Lynch WrestleMania championship match, that could headline a WrestleMania one day. I think they could. I mean, heck, they were the first ever women to main event WWE's biggest event of the year, WrestleMania 35 in 2019. So they did that with Ronda Rousey. And I understand that amount of star power is bigger than a singles match between Lynch and Flair. I'm not denying that, but I do think there is some credence. I do think there is something behind having a Charlotte Flair versus Becky Lynch feud. Now, let's pivot to Bianca Belair, because she's an interesting name, just like Flair. They've been rivals on television, and they've been frenemies on television. Two of the biggest stars that WB has created in recent times. Bianca Belair is so underrated. When Becky Lynch returned in 2021 at SummerSlam, when she beat Bianca Belair for, I believe, the SmackDown Women's title. But don't hold me to it, and I'm sure someone will correct me in the comments, and that's A-okay. That when she came back and she squashed Bianca Belair within seconds, a decision made by Vince McMahon that led to Becky's horrific heel turn. Not her fault. She tried to make the best out of it. That set the course for a rivalry that still WWE can pick up and drop off whenever they want. These two have such good chemistry together. It's remarkable. And I actually saw, I believe it was Bianca Belair that said this, maybe Becky Lynch said this, about how coming out of that SummerSlam match where Bianca and a lot of people agreed, felt that her momentum had just, everything that she had accomplished, from headlining a WrestleMania with Sasha Banks that year to every title event she had following, was for nothing. And Bianca Belair was told by Becky Lynch that she was going to make her proud, she was going to do right by her reign as champion, yada, yada, yada. To a certain degree she did, but Bianca Belair was on such an incredible run that year. And I know she had a long reign as Raw Women's Champion, early 2023. I'd like to see her have the title back yet again. I think that'd be a lot of fun. And perhaps we can get a Becky Lynch, Bianca Belair feud out of it. I'm also down for that. Let me know down in the comments area below, what do you think about Becky Lynch's comments? Do you agree with what she had to say? Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Comment down below. Let me know what you had to say, what you had to think. And I will see y'all in the next video.